Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you're doing well. So this guy Hermes, he's a white nationalist, quite bigoted, but I just wanted to capture here how in order to get popular, you gotta openly state your white nationalism. He writes here, just went to the club and the first time in a while saw a brown person and instantly left. Literally ruined everything. So what's strange about this is that it just ignores that beauty is found in so many different variations. And if you pay attention to sea life, marine life, you just look at marine life, that is. Sorry, I said marin, I meant marine. You will see how beautiful and luxurious some of these fish are, with their wonderful colors and their scales. Koi fish especially. I really love to look at them. You look at further the horses, the different paints. We call them paints. A horse that has 2 different or 3 different colors sometimes. An Appaloosa. Not a solid one with just socks on or a white stripe on the head. No, one that has a very unique pattern. They also call them Indian horses because the natives had horses like that. And the white Christian colonists, they kind of wanted solid colors of chestnut, gray, black, or white, or beige. They didn't really favor the painted horses as much as the natives did. And so there was a stigma there, and they became associated with tribal peoples. But if you just look at a horse and see how they come in these wonderful patterns, beetles, butterflies, even literally flowers, you begin just to see the beauty in variation. And I think somebody who can't see beauty in different races, I think they have some type of deformity. I don't think that they have an eye that is attuned to see beauty. They don't have a perception that is as refined as they think that they have. The fact that they would only want to walk into a room and only see those who have the same skin shade as them is, to me, absurd. It's also a very strange idea when you think about how that he's going to a place where debauchery happens. He's not worried about the sin. He's just upset that there's someone there who isn't pale. He shouldn't be going to a club in the first place. These LARPing Christians, right? Club is where they're dancing, free mixing, there's drugs, there's illicit sexual intercourse, there's cheating. All kinds of shenanigans is not good for the soul. He's not worried about that. He's bragging about it even. He has no shame. But he sees a brown person. That person didn't do nothing to him. Just standing there existing. And he has a problem with it. That person's just living their life, and he says, well, you ruined everything. He lets a person's skin shade ruin his time. So he's actually quite fragile. He thinks he's tough and edgy, but he just admitted that no one has to really do anything to disturb his inner peace. They simply need to stand in front of him and he'll leave. Isn't that something? There's the game of chicken where you're going one direction and then someone's coming towards you who's going to move out of the way. And usually, the one who doesn't chicken out is the one who has the upper hand. But sometimes it's about who moves and doesn't want to crash as the smarter person. There's many ways to look at the chicken test. But clearly, someone like him can't even handle the duration of a chicken's test because he goes in, oh, there's someone there who isn't pale, and he leaves. The right wing is finally admitting who they've always been. And I think it's really important for us who maybe had doubts about Trump in 2016 and we thought the liberals were joking and we didn't believe the progressives, we didn't believe the leftists when they talked about Trump's ethno-nationalistic dreams and how he would reignite a sort of KKK movement in America. I think it's fair now for tons of people to say, hey, we were wrong. It's hard for some people to admit when they're wrong and to give credit to their enemies. But I think that the liberals, those on the left spectrum who were complaining about Trump, saw something that I couldn't perceive at first because of the memes. You know, comedy is a good mask. But clearly here we see that Trump used comedy and his bombastic way of communicating to overshadow his nefarious part, the perniciousness of his aura. What he would awaken. A movement bigger than himself. And I don't think you can put that genie back in the bottle, as they say. When you have people who think that racial identity is more important than policy, that somehow the creator of the universe made different races superior to others, that's just crazy to me. Because the earth is filled with empires that rise and fall. And there are ethnicities, I bet, that don't just, we don't even know their names. Groups of people that have languages that have disappeared. Gone forever. So many languages dying. So many stories gone from the history books. Disappeared into the abyss of time. In the end, we don't matter. Our nationalistic dreams and fervors are fake. They're not real. They're not eternal. Because maps get redrawn. Races mix. New languages adapt. I mean, think about how in Shakespeare's time how people spoke. And then look how people speak today. We have words that will probably be forgotten. People can literally just make up words. Lamau, LMAO, laughing my ass off, was made up. LOL, laugh out loud. Those aren't even that popular anymore. Usually just amongst millennials. And the Zoomers, they have their own way of talking. People don't write with hieroglyphs really anymore. We use emojis now. We just keep changing. And evil will take shape anyhow, anywhere, anytime. Within any culture. It can use anyone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't say, hey, you know what? Evil will not come from a pale race. No. It's about morals, identity, and the fact that there's going to just be a certain amount of evil on earth and you have to survive and thrive and get through it without letting your heart become hardened. But a lot on the right, their hearts have become hard. And some people, they take those insults and that racial victimization, they put it in too deep, and then they get more racial, and then someone sees them, and then they both feed off of each other's racialism. I think there should be more humor with funny stereotypes. Like, how many great comedians, Dave Chappelle, Cat Williams, Tra-Rag, Long Beach Griffey. I mean, there's some great ones as well who are Asian, but I don't remember their actual names on Instagram. They just are funny. They just make fun of their own culture, and it's a great time. And it's so important for us not to get caught up in a white nationalist movement. Black supremacy is not something I'm into either. I remember making videos against the Elijah Muhammad Nation of Islam book. I have the book Message to a Black Man, something like that, and I read it, and it was terribly racial and horrible against whites. I'm not for that. I know we can say racial slurs to each other in a fit of anger, People lose their temper and you forgive them. But when you actually start to hold it inside to the point where to the world you're saying you left a club because there was a brown person there and that they ruined your experience for simply existing, trying to have a good time, well, then there's a problem. You can't really have a good time in sin, I'd argue. It's an illusion. And you're putting yourself in a lot of danger. Pickpockets and, catching a disease because you might hook up with someone there or at a hotel or wherever else that you go to hook up with them. I mean, remember, 1 in 5 Americans has an STD. Last time I checked the data. So, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us and guide us. And may we keep racial identitarians far away from our hearts. And understand that we are Muslim first, before race. I know that's not popular, but a believer is a believer. And on Judgment Day, we know that there will be all races, all different kinds of people. Short, tall, fat, old, young, in paradise. So if Allah sees fit to allow every race to have an opportunity to earn paradise, who am I to put artificial constructs on who's moral? Our skin shade is about how close we are to the equator. We're in the cold regions, we're going to be more pale. We're in the hot regions where the sun is upon us, we're going to be more tinted. I remember watching a travel vlog and seeing how large the Egyptian sun was. I couldn't believe it. I almost thought it was AI. That sounds ignorant, I know. But in America, the sun ain't that close, that huge. Now I understand why the Egyptians made all that sun art. But I was like, wow. And then you realize, like, that's intense. Look how close the sun is. It's huge. I'm telling you. It's wild to me how the sun can be farther away from us. We have different climate zones. And people will think, because you're in the cold part, or because you're in the mountains instead of the swamps, because you're in the valley instead of the Alps, that you're somehow better or less than. It's absurd. Absolutely absurd. Let me know what you think. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, join the blog.